Hello friends, this is a re-upload from Jen's channel at TTS69. It was from a live stream she did yesterday, and she did an amazing job of exposing volcanoes and what they really are, some of them at least. So you'll find her link down in the description. Okay, enjoy the show.
I cut it off too soon. Either put on those sunglasses or start eating that trash can. Welcome everybody to the Ripple Effect. I got about 38 people here so far. That's awesome. What's up, Marika? That's right. We are the best. We are the fucking best, baby. Especially after tonight. AS is in the house. Tommy Paint is here. Hi, Tommy. Tatarian Meltdown is here. Welcome. We're going to be getting into some really interesting stuff, and I think I made a very important discovery that I am going to share with everybody tonight. The Devil's Playground 2 is in the house. Jade Wagner is in the house. Mark One Troba is here. What's up, Mark? Jay Kraft is in the house. The Boneyard Militia's here. Pirate's in the house. What's up, Pirate? Reconnect to Nature's here. Aware is here. Truth Warrior. Tommy Rogers 2. Carla Farizzi. Guitar Bear's here. Welcome, everybody. So glad to see all you here. 42 people. I'm not going to delve right directly into what my main presentation is. I'm going to take you back to the streets of Pompeii. And we're going to take a look at a few things because I just want to reiterate and go over a few details because the devil is in the details. And I want to make sure that everybody is clear on what we're looking at and the lie that is his story. To understand the truth, you must first understand the lie. And by the time I'm done this truth cast, you will understand the truth of the matter. I have chills right now. I swear to God, I have chills right now. You don't know how bad I've been waiting to come on here and tell you guys what I have discovered. For the last 48 hours, I have been just poring over amazing footage and 4K footage of drone footage, high definition photographs of different things here that I'm going to be showing you. So this is what I've been doing over the last 48 hours, picking out the best high quality pictures that I could find and drone footage. Being said, I cannot be there, boots on the ground, to see for my own eyes what I'm seeing through these pictures and these videos. I would love to go there and see this for myself and confirm it for myself. But as of right now, I am an armchair researcher. I'm a damn good armchair researcher. And I spare no expense as far as taking my time and pouring through these pictures over and over again and asking the question and even trying to get fresh eyes on it and asking somebody else who's not looking at what I'm looking at, what do you think that is? And yeah, so I'm pretty sure that after tonight and getting your opinion on it, because I want you guys to weigh in on what I have found and tell me what you see. So that'll be very helpful as well. Chainsaw Cat's here. Crushing the Liars is here. Crystal Mona is here. I said hi to Guitar Bear, I think. Or what's this? Gar Bear? Gar Bear too? I think Guitar Bear is here as well, though. Up top, I see them. If I missed anybody, Ceiling Fan Man's in the house. What's up, Ceiling Fan Man? You ready to have your mind blown tonight? I actually had the same thing happen from my last live stream tonight. Right before I went to go live, all my stuff crashed and my computer just went back to the startup page. So I had a bunch of tabs open, and there's a few tabs that I didn't open back up, but we will get to them as we go along. getting a message from my sister. So I'm just going to look at this real quick, see what she's saying, because she don't usually message me at this time of the day. Must be something's up. This is her question to me. You want to hear this? Why is your mother crazy? This is the question that I have to answer while I'm live. I'll have to get back to you on that. I'm live right now. Too funny. Okay. So, where we're at with things is we know that there was an X Factor event. Some sort of event took place of extreme heat. We call it the X Factor event because we don't know what it was. Was it sabotage? Was it a war that took place? Was it an act of God? These things we just don't know. But we can decipher from the evidence that we have in front of us that there was an extreme heat event in the not so distant past that melted practically everything, but not everything. There's lots of pockets of survival. We actually still utilize, work in, and live in a lot of the pockets of survival till this day. We just don't know what it is that we're looking at, what we're working within, what we're living in. Most people don't know that the streets that they're walking down are pre-X Factor event. So Pompeii and Herculaneum were destroyed, two cities that were destroyed in 79 AD from the volcano known as Vesuvius. Now, I have looked at Pompeii and Herculaneum in depth and have determined that the heat definitely came up from underneath. I'm not saying there was no ash and no ash landed on top and messed things up, because certainly that did happen. There was building ash coming down and stuff, which definitely did probably bury some stuff, and probably most likely was very hot and toxic. I wouldn't doubt that at all. But an asphyxiating, this, the extreme heat event that's happening, you got building ash flying around, debris coming everywhere, and also your ground underneath is heating from beneath, because this is a motherboard that these components are on. The cities are set up like a grid system on a computer, components. Most of the buildings that we see from the old world were not meant to be lived in. Today, they tell us that these are monuments, temples, or tombs, or cathedrals, places of worship. And this is all across the plain, not just in one area. This is everywhere. If you go to India, you got the stupas. If you go to China, you got the pagodas. If you go to Thailand, they have stupas. These are all temples that people worshiped in, is what they're saying to their gods. I'm telling you that these are not temples. These are key components on the motherboard system that they were creating for free energy, and God only knows what else. I don't know. I wasn't there. But red brick seems to be a main component in this architecture that they were building along their motherboard grid system. Where things were placed, where they were built at on the grid system, on the circuit board that they were creating, are put in those locations for specific purposes, including all the tunnels and cisterns and stuff like that that are underground in all these areas. This is all part of it. There's a lot going on underground that they are not telling us about, guys. A lot. They found a lot of shit underground. One of the reasons why you're not allowed in the Grand Canyon, actually, the reason you are not allowed in the Grand Canyon and only select sections that have been designated public access, is because the Grand Canyon was actually a grand city that melted down. And once you get down into the lower parts of this city and start looking up through the canyon as you're going through it, you're going to see a lot of caves, a lot of openings, a lot of things that look like windows and doorways. And if you dare venture into any of these, you're going to see that they're all brick inside. They don't want you to know that. Pre-X Factor event, the Grand Canyon was a vast city that was clearly interconnected. And I don't know how far down it actually goes, because with this heat event, like I said, the heat is coming up from the bottom, so the bottom's going to get trashed first. If you look at a motherboard when it fries or a circuit board, the heat comes up from the bottom. Certain components get completely melted down instantly. Other components get fried, and you can see the damage on them, but they're just ruined. You know, you can still make out what they are, but they're ruined. And other ones look completely perfect. No damage whatsoever to them physically, but they just don't work anymore on this circuit board. They're Baroque. So they call that Baroque architecture. They don't say it's broke, B-R-O-K, B-R-O-K-E. They have this fancy Baroque word for it. Why would they call that Baroque architecture? Well, because it doesn't work anymore. It's beautiful. It's ornate. They just tell us that these are aesthetics, that these people at those times in the 15, 16, the 1700s had nothing better to do but muck around in the mud with their horse and carriages and build extremely ornate, elaborate buildings. This is ludicrous. I, tonight, am going to dismantle his story. Brick by motherfucking melted brick. Okay? Are you ready, guys? Got 65 people here. We're going back to the streets of Pompeii and Herculaneum. And we're going to take a look at the damage that came up from beneath during this extreme heat event. Just make sure that everybody can see what I'm looking at here. Hey, Squeeze. What's up, Carla? Craig's here. Valley Parks is here. Jay Wagner. Wagner. I'm sorry. I thought I said it wrong for a second. All right, guys. Everybody can see what I'm looking at here. Everything looks good on my end. I just want to go back and get this comment off the screen so you guys do not miss anything that I'm looking at. Okay. Just make sure that comment goes off the screen, and then we'll get right into it, guys. Okay. Everything looks good now. All right, here we are on the streets of Pompeii. This is what the supposed volcanic eruption did to the city. It completely incinerated it pretty much. The whole city was made of red brick. I've proven this over and over again in my last live stream that I did about Pompeii and Herculaneum. The whole city was made of brick. If you look closely in this background here, you can see the brick already. It's apparent. It's right there. And of course, along the right-hand side of the picture, you can see the brick. But if you guys can focus with me here on this area, I want everybody to pay close attention to what the brick looks like here while it's still pretty much intact and holding its integrity as far as its form. And over onto the right-hand side here where it's completely vitrified and cooked and melted. So you can see that the heat rose up this wall. It didn't make it over to this part here. This is what we would consider a pocket of survival. But clearly, this whole vitrification looked like this over here. Before the X Factor event, the whole wall was brick. So now you have a clear indication of what cooked, melted brick looks like. This is what we're looking at. Cooked, melted brick right next to brick that's holding its form and integrity. It's one wall with two separate heat events happening at the same time. One where the heat is rising right up the wall in this section, but just over here, 2 feet away, it hasn't made it there yet. It's still holding its integrity. Now we're going to move over to this side of the street and look at this wall. Okay, from the pavement on up the wall, you can see that the brick is completely losing its form. It's squishing out together, it's melting together, and it's actually starting to look like striations. If this would have got cooked out more, it would look like those pickaxe marks that they tell you that people carve out caves with. You can start to see the formation of it here. But nonetheless, this is what cooked brick looks like when it has extreme heat put to it. And I want you guys to please take note of this and don't forget what you're looking at here, because we're going to need to remember this later when we get to the other part of this truth cast here. Again, right next to her head here, you can see where the brick is holding its integrity. It's still holding together even though it's about to get cooked out. Just check something here, make sure everybody can hear me okay. Yep, everything's good. All right. Now we're going to focus on, hold on a second, my mouse isn't moving. Now we're going to focus on the wall that is directly in front of these two people, right between them. Now this wall is very important. This is key, okay? Because here you're starting to see the brick go block, and the brick underneath of it's starting to squish down on this itself, on these two rows here. And then the next row, it's starting to go block. And then the next row is cooking down on itself. Okay, so the heat is rising up this wall. It's being affected differently. You can see the layers all the way down. See how they get that grayish charcoal look, but yet you can still kind of make out the defined brick lines between them. And then in between those rough looking burnt out bricks, you can still make out brick that's holding its mortar and holding its integrity, embedded within the layers of the wall, right? Okay, so you can see that. Okay, I'm not some geologist coming along and telling you, oh, Jen, these are mineral layers. You're just seeing mineral layers through a wall, right? That's all melted down. They'll say they're mineral layers if it gets melted down even more. This is what they'll tell you. And if you weren't in the middle of a town here. But this pattern is key. Keep this pattern in mind right here for later on. This is an important look right here that we need to recognize. So you have heat damage over here where the brick has completely went rock and you can't even tell it was brick anymore. It's getting the striation marks in it. Here we have brick that's losing its integrity slightly, but you can still make out clearly that they're bricks. And then again, over on this side of the wall, we can completely see how the brick has turned to what looks like completely cooked rock. Now, you can't make out that it was even brick anymore. It's melting down, getting those striations and stuff. Okay, so now let's go to the street. The street is where the heat came up from, the ground, the lowest level possible. So here, the street would have been all brick, just like the sidewalks here and the houses. Everything was brick here. But the heat came up from the bottom and completely cooked the street into these big, I don't know what you call them, cobblestones, whatever. But clearly you could see that these things were cooked. You could see how they're starting to lap over on each other here. Got this waviness to them, like they're running into each other. This one right here in the center, this big one, melted right into this one next to her foot right here. It wouldn't have had all these holes between them and stuff. This is just everything getting warped out of shape. Everything would have been together, nice and tight and packed like regular brick, like over here on this wall and what would have been on this sidewalk. The sidewalk is completely cooked as well. So the heat's rising up from this area in the street. It comes up these curbs because they had curbs lining their sidewalks here. The curb is getting completely cooked. You can see it's just as cooked as the street itself. And then the molds start running into the pavement. You can see how they expanded into the pavement. They were like running this way towards the wall here. Now down here in this one little patch of the corner, if you look closely, I can't get in really much anymore. There you go. Right here you can make out a few bricks that this cement covering must have, this molding must have went over. You can see sort of make out some bricks, but the rest of it's just cooked. Just cooked. Again, I want to reiterate here. This heat is coming up from the ground. You can see it rising up this wall. This part of the wall hasn't gotten it yet, but look, the very, very bottom of this wall at that corner is starting to go cooked rock, like just right over here. But rising up the wall on this side, the bricks are still holding their integrity, even though they're slightly starting to get out of shape. This is very important to be able to see what brick looks like before it gets melted and after the extreme heat. They're right next to each other, guys. And this is extremely important with what we're going to look at later. Again, this is what a melted street looks like. Whether these stones in the centers have popped up due to heat or they're actually crossings, I don't know. And I can tell you that the historians only speculate on what these things are. Now I know there's lower lying parts of the city where the streets would get a little flooded out, and I could see you having a crossing there, because if you got puddles and stuff, you know, you're going to want to be able to cross. What I don't understand is how a cart could come down the street with a couple of horses and nobody runs over these things or gets tripped up or anything. To me, that part doesn't make sense, but we'll just leave it there. Okay. Okay, here we are in also Pompeii. Here you can clearly see that there is brick everywhere. This place was made of brick. But along here you have what looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 big blocks. These are not big blocks. These are what this is right here. Turned to block from the heat. You can see that this thing had extreme heat to it. Just like the wall over here. You can see the extreme heat to it. Even though you could barely make out any brick form, you could tell that that was a brick wall. These are all very, very important for you to understand, especially with what we're going to look at. Down here on the bottom, you can see that this brick wall had a facade over it. Here's a piece that stayed on. It didn't melt off. But here you can see the heat coming up from the bottom, because this whole part down here has already been extremely heat damaged. And now it's going to start rising up the wall. Also, the heat is not evenly distributed everywhere. It will rise up some parts and other parts will survive no problem. Like this ground and the rocks around it and what this gentleman here is sitting on. This would have all been brick. I know it's hard to believe. Maybe you're thinking I'm a little nuts, but look at this step. The step that you step up on is brick. You can see the mortar, you can see the brick. This is just vitrified brick right here. That hardened up and solidified after the heat was taken away. Now let's move over to this side of the wall. Here you can see that the bricks are starting to fall out. They're losing their integrity and stuff. There's nothing to hold them in anymore. Again, you see here brick that went block with these columns right here. These are cooked columns that are just like this one here and this one over here. See how badly damaged this wall is from the heat? Okay, now this is important, guys. Step away from this wall. Look at these group of people right down here where I'm circling, and then glance back up at the wall. Even though you know it's a brick wall, you can see that this is completely fried right here, but you're still able to make out what looks like brick lines. Am I right? Yes, I am right. Even though we already know it is definitely a brick wall, say if you didn't know it was a brick wall and you just saw that part right there, you could still see what looks like the brick lines. Even though they're getting melted and all twisted and stuff, you can still see some of the lines in here. Okay, this is very, very important. I will explain later. Again, also with this picture, before I get off of it, these stones are popping up. This is heat expansion. All these stones are getting muffed up, separated, heat expanded, and some of them are starting to pop up out of their areas. Just want to mention that. I got 71 people here. Welcome, everybody. We are going to be getting into some really amazing stuff here in just a little bit once I get through these pictures. I think I made a huge discovery that will literally rewrite and dismantle his story. Brick by brick, guys. Brick by motherfucking melted brick. Okay, here we are again in Pompeii. A lot going on in this picture. All right. First off, the sidewalk here where everybody's walking would have been red brick. It is completely cooked. The street is completely cooked because this is where the heat comes from. when the motherboard fries. It comes from underneath. That's where it comes from first. So you're going to see the most damage anywhere you look on ground level. Ground level. This is all melted, guys. There's no two ways about it. This street has been melted. It used to be beautiful red brick. Now it's completely cooked out and damaged. Rocks are popping out everywhere. They're losing their shape and their form. If you tried to ride over this while it was in that state, you would definitely leave marks in it, like you would leave marks in mud. To me, it looks like some people were trying to get out of here. This whole line right here is popping up. Maybe people with heavily weighted down carts were trying to get through here to get out and left their impressions in here. This is not wear and tear on a road. This whole area was completely beautifully bricked. The masonry is impeccable. They had sidewalks, cemented moldings over their curbs. They had brick streets. It looks like any town in Old City, Philadelphia, or Old Town, Chicago, or anywhere you guys want to go. You can look at their old town stuff with their cobblestone streets, supposedly from the 1800s and stuff, and you will see the masonry that I'm talking about. Now, if you look over here on this side of the street at the curb, here you can see the molding still. It's completely cooked, but then when you get down here a little bit more, it's cooked out even more. Oops, sorry about that. It's cooked out even more as you run down here. Now, the picture's getting a little grainy as I'm going in. I know, I'm sorry about that, but just take note of what these popcorn blocks look like and the heat expansion. Any archaeologist who sees this stuff in other places, like say if you saw rock like this in Sacsayhuam or, Teotihuacan or Pumapunku, they're not going to tell you it's heat damage. They'll just be like, oh, that's just because it's so ancient. No, it's heat damage. Okay, moving along to these walls over here. Now, here you have a brick pillar, right? It's all brick. This one is all brick as well, but do you see how it went block and formed just one big gigantic block here? It's completely fucked, this particular pillar right here, this entranceway to this house. It looks like the curb. It's so bad. The heat came up so bad right there and really completely fucked it. Again, though, we want to look at the wall behind it. This brick behind it is completely cooked out. It's all gray. It's all muffed up. It's losing its shape and its form, but you can still see that they were in a row and form a line. This is extremely important as well, especially over here. See how they're barely forming lines, but you can see that they're kind of squarish even and stuff, but still it's not resembling a brick wall anymore, okay? This is very important to understand what this stuff looks like once it's cooked out because of what we're going to look at here in a little while. And anybody who's new and doesn't know what we're doing and what we're looking at here, maybe you can get a clue before we get too crazy into it. Here, again, I want you to look at this right here. This picture right here just blows me away. First off, you can see the brick getting very small, squished, and kind of cooked out, but you can still make out that it's red. It hasn't got the red cooked out yet. Clay is rich in iron. This is why bricks are red, and bricks melt at 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit. Or excuse me, it's almost 3,000 degrees, or maybe a little over 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit for brick to melt. So we're talking about an extreme heat event that melted this wall down. Look, you can still make out the brick right here. Barely, but you can still make it out. Look at that. And then right here, right next to it's completely cooked. And then all down here is cooked. And then the street's just fucked. It's completely fucked. If it would have kept going, if the melt would have kept going, this whole street would have melted into itself and would have looked like one flat road, just like the pavement does over here. See how it's just like you can't even make it. It's just like one thing. It's all chalky and stuff. Yeah. All right. So I'm also speculating, too, that they're brick roads. The streets that they actually rode on were not just one layer bricks like you would find on the pavement. I think they were stacked bricks like so brick over brick, maybe like 2 or 3 to ensure a strong road. I could be wrong, but I think that that's why we're seeing thicker, bigger blocks here on the streets. Just saying. Just saying. And besides the fact that the heat came up from the bottom. I'm speculating on that one as far as them having a double layered street. It would make sense though. Okay, we got 80 people here. Zulu, what is up? Sweeze, I said hi. Israel Adams, K Daringer. I can't say that name. What's up, KD? Bob's here. What's up, Bob? Carrie's in the house. Money May, I'm making you a moderator. The ground's roasted. Rock on, Jen. That's right, bitches. We're going to blow the lid off this shit. His story is getting dismantled tonight. Tonight. We're doing it. We're doing it live, guys. All right, look at this street. Look at this street. Guys, the street is fucked, okay? It's just fucked. Completely cooked out. People were definitely trying to escape on this road during this event. If they weren't, there wouldn't be traces of their wheel marks of whatever they were riding down this road to get out. You wouldn't see it. And some roads, you don't see anything. You don't see anything on their roads. It's just cooked. But here they were trying to get out, and clearly their carts were heavily weighed down for them to make these impressions. The reason I'm saying that is you don't see anything in front of it like like their horseshoe marks or whatever. You're only seeing cartwheels. The carts were heavily weighed down, I think. Of course, with their possessions and whatnot, they were trying to run out. Okay, here we go. I want you to pay attention to this wall here on the very left and pay attention to how it's all cooked out and it's all mangled together. You can't even decipher that there's brick lines or anything. That's extreme heat damage. But then right over here, you could start to see the brick lines again. Even though they're getting cooked, they're starting to cook out, their color's going, they're starting to go gray. You can still make out blocks and brick lines. That's very, very important, the way these walls look. And knowing the differences between them and understanding what it is that we're actually looking at when we look at other things. Here we know we're in a brick city, but other places we don't know what's going on. And we're pointing these things out to people, and they need to understand what happens at each level of heat expansion. One wall's completely vitrified. The other one's holding its integrity. The other one down here is completely melted beyond repair. You know, these are all different levels of heat that are happening. 81 people. I want the room to get as full as possible when I blow the lid off this shit. All right, guys. Again, this is, I think this one's Herculaneum. I'm pretty sure this one's Herculaneum. Street has been completely cooked. Completely cooked. To the point where the blocks are running into each other and starting to flatten out and form just one surface. Again, whoever was on this street, they were having a heavily weighted down cart. You can see the impressions everywhere. This whole area has been completely cooked. This is not the greatest picture as far as being able to zoom on it. But if you look down here, they didn't carve these streets like this, guys. They'll tell you all day long that this is from traffic going up the street and wearing down these stones, because they want you to believe that these stones were placed here in the form that they're in their original state. They're not going to want you to know that this was a brick road. You know why? I'll tell you why. Because they don't want you to figure out that the heat is coming up from underneath. This place was buried in ash. Lava didn't run through here. How are they going to explain this? So they tell you a lie. They tell you his story, and his story is these are big boulders that they put down on their roads. And these are cart ruts that wore it out over all the time that they rode up and down this street. That's not what's going on, guys. It's a lie. It's all it ever is, and that's all it'll ever be with his story. It's always the same. It's a lie. Okay, guys. This would actually be, I think we're in here back at Pompeii on this one. And here we're focusing on the sidewalk. Okay, we're going to go to the street first. I know this is a nice picture of the sidewalk here, but we're going to get into the street here because here the street you can see is so cooked. It's so cooked that these blocks are starting to just melt right into each other. And right here, this whole part here, it's completely disintegrated, just like we saw on the sidewalks. This part's all disintegrated. This is all melted. All this is melted. Really, really, really bad. This part got hit extremely bad. Look at the sidewalk here. It's completely disintegrated away. It actually turned it to complete dirt right here. Over here on this side of the sidewalk, the brick did not hold up. It went completely into itself and formed one flat surface before. This is the process that happens right before it cooks into dirt and dust and ash. Here you can even make out some of the red brick color in there. If you look closely, you can still see some of the red brick in there. You can actually still see a little bit of the white mortar in there too. Look at the vitrification along the curb here. Look at how it melted. You can see the melt lines, especially down here. Look at the melt lines. Look at the curb. That's the curb right where it would meet the street and the sidewalk. It's completely melted. If you saw this underwater, they would tell you this is coral. That's what this is underwater. They call it coral. Marine biologists, geologists, archaeologists, and all historians need to be fired immediately, if not sooner. Now, I want you to take a look at this. This is a brick sidewalk that has been completely cooked. How many times have you seen something that looks like this in Egypt or on a pillar somewhere and they tell you this is granite? A million times. That's how many times. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that this is granite. And if it cooks out even more, it looks even more refined and fine. But clearly, these tiny little red things that you see here are bits of brick. That's what you're seeing. Bits of brick. It's all melted and cooked. The whole thing is melted and cooked. If this was on a column standing up, they would tell you that this is made of granite. This column's made of granite. This is not granite. This is cooked brick. We have to understand what exactly is going on here. Here you can still see on the wall some of the exterior molding that was on it, the overlay that they put over the brick, the whitewashing and stuff. A little bit of it made it through here. But right here, this wall is completely vitrified. And it's melting down. You can barely make out a brick right here. Everything is just running down the wall here. It's starting to come down. Once you know what you're looking at, you cannot be deceived. Once you know the truth, his story, his spell, his lie, his deception does not work anymore. And tonight we are destroying his story. We are destroying it. We're going to cook it into melted red brick everywhere, his story. Okay, I'm going to stop right there for just a second. Let me go back a picture. Just leave it on this one for a second. I'm going to come over here real quick. Anybody who's new to the show and does not know about red brick and that brick can melt, we're going to look at some brick that's damaged from heat. Okay, these are red brick photos. These are not Pompeii or anything like that. This is just regular cityscapes. Okay, these are X Factor event homes and businesses that made it through the X Factor event, but came out the other side with heat damage. Heat damage. And this is what it looks like when bricks get cooked out and start to melt. You can see the mortar squishing out over everything. Some of them are completely disintegrated out. Some of them start turning on their side. Some of them get cooked bigger. Some of them get cooked smaller. Some of them melt into the ones below. Some of them just become one big block. People don't know about brick and that brick can melt. But it can, and it does. It does. Let's look at this picture right here. This is it's called Napalm Cave in Russia, but what it is this is a fortification in Russia, and they had a napalm explosion within this fortification that was made completely of red brick, just like Fort Jefferson. If you have not watched my Fort Jefferson live stream, you need to watch it. This is what brick looks like under extreme heat. Now, not only extreme heat, but extreme heat that happens extremely fast, rapid. Look at this, guys. It's melted. This is melted brick from heat that is probably, it was right around 5,000 degrees, I think, for napalm. Maybe a little bit more. Now, as you move down the wall, here, back on this part of the wall, you can see the brick. You can tell that there's brick there. You can make the brick lines out. You can see the squares all the way over to this point. And then here, the wall is cooked. It's a little bit harder to make out that that was a brick wall, but we know it is because it's connected to this wall here. Example, though. Here, they're rectangular. Here, they're starting to go blocks, square blocks. They're turning into square blocks, but at the same time, you can still make out that they're in a line. You can see that they're layered upon each other, okay? That is very important as well. That's a telltale sign of cooked brick, when you can make out that they're in the lines, pancaking on top of each other, just like the ceiling here. Even though these are melted, you can see the lines, the separation between the brick lines. It's apparent. You can't miss it. Okay, I'm going to click on this one as well. This is another, I think it might be the same one. That napalm event that took place in that fortification that was made of red brick. Again, of course, the ceiling is completely melted. It's dripping down. This takes over 3,000 degrees for this to happen. Okay, they're saying, again, I want to reiterate, his story says that this is from a napalm explosion within this place. I don't know. I don't know, but I can tell you one thing, that this red brick that you see everywhere is pre-X Factor event. So whether this thing made it through the X Factor event and later they had a napalm accident in here or something went off, I don't know that part. To me, it looks completely X Factored as far as I'm concerned. And that's what I'm going with. The floor completely gone. It's fucked, just like Pompeii. All the borders here around the brim of this fortification looks just like Pompeii, the curbs. The street's cooked, the curbs are starting to get melted, and then it's going up the walls. See, right here? It's a little something I want to point out on this side of the picture. Here in this section, you can start to see where the brick sometimes looks like it goes inward, to where you can still make out that there might have been a brick there, but now it looks like an empty space, almost as if this thing melted inward instead of outward and down the wall. That's very important as well. That's a telltale feature that I see in a lot of places that they say are natural formations. Again, you can make out the brick on the wall in the background there. But then as soon as you move to either left or the right side of that spot, it's completely vitrified and starting that meltdown process. I got 97 people here. This is fucking awesome. You guys are going to freak the fuck out when I show you what I got. This is crumbled brick. This is brick that is so cooked out that it's just crumbling away right now. That's all it's doing. And yes, it goes back to being just clay again. It goes back into the soil. Clay is high in iron. That's why it has a red color. Look at this over here. This was brick. This is an example of brick that goes block. Once it gets heated, you can still see they're in a line though. This is very important. See how they're lined up? That's not a natural formation. That was placed there. That was placed there. That was placed there. That was placed there. It was all red brick. It got cooked. It's still holding its line, or it's holding the line, but it's not holding its form or its integrity. But you can still see the line, even though it's a little jagged and off a little, you can still see that there's an order to it. This is very, very important in what I'm going to show you here in just a little bit. Look, Wax of a candle melted on red brick. Well, the red brick looks melted. I can tell you that, because that brick right there is cooked. That's cooked brick right there. That's what that is. When I talk about the layered streets, this is exactly what I mean. I mean like this right here. So you'd have the top layer that you're walking on, but underneath the street might be another layer of brick on top, underneath of that brick, just to shore it up, because this is something that's going to be walked on constantly and everything, or rode down or whatever, with things that are heavier than just foot path stuff, like carts and everything. Okay. Now I have this picture over here real quick to show. Before we get right into what we're going into, I want to point this picture out. Fun fact. So this was what we were looking at. This was the fortification. It says the basement of Russia's Fort Zverov used alternative to napalm until it caught fire in the 70s. Temperatures were so hot that the brick melted, creating an artificial cave of red brick stalactites dripping down from above. Dripping down from above. And there you have it. Red brick melts. And if you ever had any doubts, there it is. Okay. Go over here. Stop screen sharing for a minute. Okay. 98 people here. Welcome, whoever this person is who just showed up and started watching and is 98th person. Welcome. We're talking about red brick, and we are about to get deep into it. We are about to dismantle his story completely. I think I found proof. And I'm going to see what you guys think of this proof. But before I get started, I want to tell everyone, all of you out there, who've ever watched any of my live streams and followed me along with all this stuff, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for sticking with me and going down this journey of truth with me. And, you know, the highs and the lows and the doubts that you have, and then, you know, mowing over these ideas and bouncing them off of each other, and all the amazing comments that I get and everything. And believe me, you guys have given me so many pieces to the puzzle. I thank you so much for all your suggestions, all the videos you've ever suggested me to watch, and pictures that people have emailed me and everything. It's all there. It is. It's all there. And you guys are seeing it now too. And I'm so excited to show you. Okay, so let me start off with my theory before I get right into what I'm going to show you. The theory is the motherboard fried in this location. Clearly it wasn't 79 BC when this area got fried. It was during the X Factor event. And what they're telling us is that Vesuvius popped off, it exploded, it went off in 79 AD. It destroyed the city of Pompeii and Herculaneum through volcanic ash. And there's a few other smaller towns around it that got impacted as well. And then from there, it lay dormant until 1944. Now, this is his story. This is his words, not mine, his words. In 1944, the Allied forces were in Italy because Italy was on the side of Hitler. So we invaded Italy, and we were over there, and we have pictures of our planes flying over the volcano in 1944, before and after. Before, during, and after it exploded. Vesuvius was the key point on this part of the grid system, this part of the circuit board, this part of their free energy grid system. Vesuvius played a part in it. And when the grid went down and melted and fried, that particular part of the motherboard was catastrophic. If you haven't seen a motherboard melt and watch the parts melt down, you will see that there are some components that melt down immediately. Right down. And then other ones melt they fry, they take a little bit longer, and they start getting out of shape and warped, and then they're all muffed up, but you can kind of see it was something. You can kind of make it out, but really it's fucked up. It's all muffed up. And then you have other parts that look fine, perfectly intact looking. They just don't work anymore because of the motherboard is fried underneath. So it has damage. You just can't see it physically on the outside of the exterior of that component. It just don't work. It's broke. It still looks good. You go to try to use it in another part, it's not going to work. It's broke. Dead battery. So what was Vesuvius? Vesuvius is not what they've told you. Vesuvius is not a volcano. I feel like I'm going to cry right now. I can't even believe what I have found, guys. Volcanoes are a myth. They don't exist. Nothing is what they have told us, guys. They lied to us about everything. And it's so amazing to come upon this truth. But this is truth that we should have known all of our lives. Okay? I mean, I think it's awesome that I'm discovering this stuff. But at the same time, I've been living a lie all my life. And things are not what I thought they were. Vesuvius was made of red brick. And I have proof. And we're going to get into it right now. I'm so excited. I can't even tell you. I am not speculating, guys. I am not speculating. This is not speculation. I am going to show you what I have as far as the best quality pictures that I can find and the 4K videos that I can find. I'm going to come back to that picture later. Let me start with Lola. Everybody asks how Lola is all the time and how she's doing since her operation. She's doing really good. She's taking a little snooze right here. And I was so excited after I learned what I learned last night. And I just was giving her some love. And I thought I'd take a picture for you guys. So, yeah, Lola, doing good. I know, I'm not crying because I'm sad. I'm crying because I'm happy. I'm so excited. All right, guys. What we're looking at here is a view from one of the vantage points at the top of Vesuvius, looking down into it. Anything look familiar? Anything? So what drew my eye immediately was this area right here. I'm going to call these anomalies, but I know exactly what they are. They're melted brick. Now, I just showed you Pompeii, and I just showed you the difference between brick, melted brick, and completely warped out block brick and stuff, popcorn bricks. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this particular picture, but I want you to pay attention to the way the lines are running across the wall and the patterns that you see here. This is classified as a volcano. People go up to visit it. They were told that it popped off in 1944, and I'm going to finish my story now with the World War II stuff and World War I. World War I and World War II happened only as a cover so they can go in and destroy this stuff that was left over. Now, according to his story, Vesuvius popped off in 79 AD. It had done nothing since then, right? So let's just say this thing has done nothing since the last X Factor event. It just sat there. It was done because there was nothing happening. The X Factor event happened. Things melted down. It was done. Now, for a certain period of time, up until 1944, people were going up there. People were going up there and taking these trips up to Vesuvius and looking into it and seeing things that should not be there in the caldera, things that had to be hidden from the public, things that had to be destroyed. I feel, I don't have proof, but from what I can tell, and I know his story's a lie, that the Allied forces were doing one thing only in Italy at that particular time in 1944, and that was to fly over what they call the volcano Vesuvius and drop a bomb in it. And from that, create what they say is an ash cloud. And like what they call it an eruption. Now, I've watched the video. There's a black and white video out of the eruption. It is complete and utter propaganda. It has a million cuts in it. They re-show over and over again buildings crashing down from what looks like a wall of hot mud rolling towards them and stuff. What I'm thinking is the reason that they did what they did in 1944 was because between the time of the X Factor event ending and that date in 1944 when they set this thing off again, or made it look like it was going off again, was the only thing that they were doing was to go in there and throw a few bombs in there, and that's what would destroy what people were seeing inside this thing. Because trust me, guys, they had to have been seeing stuff. If I could still see stuff since they've dropped their bombs in there in 1944, then there had to have been a lot of stuff left over that people were seeing. People were eyeballing. People were like, wait a minute. This isn't a volcano. What is that doing there? Why is there a brick wall over here? You know what I'm saying? So I think 1944 eruption was his lie. It's nothing that happened at all as far as the way they tell us it did. It was all propaganda, and it was meant to cover up what's actually inside of this thing, guys. This is called the rock geology around the crater of Mount Vesuvius. They're going to tell you that all these lines that you see are mineral layers. These are all mineral layers, they're telling you. Now, I have better pictures than these, but I'm just starting off with this stuff. This is just one side of the rim. Do you remember when I told you about bricks and how they tend to indent onto it on themselves, and sometimes they look like they're melting into itself instead of popping out? Also in this rim, you're going to see a lot of red. Red brick. When red brick melts and it's got a lot of iron in it, you're going to see a lot of red. So there's that. There's a lot of anomalies in this picture, but I have better ones, and we will get into this particular section here very shortly. Again, this is another angle to the caldera, or what they say the caldera is. I actually know what building this was, guys, and I will disclose that here. Once I present everything that I need to present, I will tell you what component on the motherboard this building was, because I know what it was now. I know what it was. I know what it was. See the formation down here? This is what I want you to pay attention, guys. I want you to pay attention to these lines running across here. These lines running across here, these lines running across here, all in succession, just like what you see at the Grand Canyon. Well, in the Grand Canyon, the Colorado River eroded down each layer, and that's how you got these fucking layers in the Grand Canyon. Well, here, we're in the middle of a fucking volcano. What are we seeing here? Oh, wait, it gets better. It gets so much better, guys. It gets so much better. Okay, this is on the way up to Vesuvius. So what happened here when the building melted down, and clearly this is red clay. This was all red brick. Do you see all the red? There's red everywhere, all over this fucking thing, guys. Just like Jerry talks about the building ash would be the mud that everybody's talking about, the mud flood stuff. This is what was flooding down here as it's melting and flooding out this way. Do you see? That's all melted building down here, guys. The building melts down and runs down over itself and flows down. Here it's completely vitrified. It looks like a wall in Pompeii right here. Down here you can start to see something. What's this down here? Okay. Let me go to the next picture. Top of Mount Vesuvius. This picture is extremely important as well. We need to look at everything here. I got a better close-up picture here, but this gives you an idea of the other side of the rim. And we're going to be taking a look at these lines that are running all through this place. All through this place. There's lots of holes, what looks like would have been corridors, windows, and doorways everywhere as well. It gets better, guys. Okay, right here in the center, there's a consensual ring going completely around here. All the way around, like this was some main hallway maybe, or something, some walkway of some sort here. I'm going to pause there for just a second. Give me a second, guys. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so this is walking up to the summit. So right off the bat, even in the summit area, I'm seeing what looks to me like brick lines here. You can see the pattern here. And also down here, you look like you see some blocks here. I have a special surprise for you guys. A special surprise for you guys. Okay, so this is a drone footage. This is drone footage. This guy had really amazing quality on his stuff. Just taking a look down into it. You're looking at the interior of a building, not a volcano. This thing is not what they tell us it is. If you're still not convinced, trust me, you will be when I'm done with this. You will. Again, here with the patterns, the lines, the blocks, they're all lined up with each other perfectly, even over here. Even over here, all the way down. All the way down. Picture's worth 1,000 words, in my opinion. So this building got completely destroyed. in the X Factor event. Yep, Trisha. Wow. Just wow. We're getting to some really cool stuff here. I'm just warming you up, guys. I'm just warming you up right now, okay? Let's go to this next one real quick. All right, here we go. Remember I showed you the side of the wall in Pompeii, the brick wall? I showed you the side of that wall and said pay attention to that. What do you see there? What do you see there? What do you see here? What do you see? That looks like that same brick wall. This even looks like a brick right here. I can see a brick. Now, I'm not trying to influence you to see anything. It's rectangular and it's red, okay? And then the rest of them look melted together. Down here, I see more formations. Let me see what you guys are saying. Doesn't look like lava. That's right. Jen, we can be real archaeologists together for sure, dude. Catherine, what's up? Do you see the structure here going across the rim? See the structure? See the blocks? They're all lined up. These are not mineral layer deposits. They will shove that shit up your ass all day long. Do not accept it. Look at the pattern here in the wall. Do you see? There's a wall here, for Christ's sake. This whole thing is a wall. But what gets me is right here, guys. Right there. This looks exactly what I saw in Pompeii on the side of one of their buildings. Right here. This is another shot snapped right after the first one that I took to give you a little bit more expanded view of this wall here that I am looking at. This cooked out brick wall right here. See the blocks? See the bricks? See the bricks? Mount Vesuvius is not a volcano. It got melted during the X Factor event. It clearly had stuff that was still left over in it that people were seeing, and they can't have that. So they went in during supposedly the wartime and dropped a bomb on this sucker and tried to get whatever else was still in there. So you can't see it. Because they can't stop people from going up to this thing. They're going to figure it out. They're going to figure it out. What you're looking at is the interior of a melted building that has defined brick lines to me. I can see them. That's a wall, guys. That's a wall. Here you can see the melted brick. Mount Vesuvius is not, I repeat, is not and never was a volcano. Never was. Okay, here they're propelling down into Vesuvius. Do some studies. Take a look at this real quick. So these top-down pictures, you can start to see the blocks. Here are some blocks. They're always the same size blocks, too. This is not a mineral layer deposit. This is part of the building that went block right here. This part's really melted down. Extreme heat event. This particular component got hit extremely hard and shorted out everything around it. This is a building. In 1944, they tell you that this thing erupted, caused minimal damage, nothing like the first one. It can't ever be like the first one because the first one was the X Factor meltdown event. They just gave it the date of 79 AD and make it some ancient place. It's not ancient. This is within the last 500 years. That's why some of these places are still hot, still molten. Okay, remember the bricks, their formations, and what they look like when they start to melt around. I feel like in this picture here in the background, you can see the brick. You can see what looks like these squares that are kind of squishing into themselves here, just like we saw in that cave that got napalmed and stuff, which it didn't. It probably just got X-factored. I don't know how these people can't see it. I don't know how they don't know what's going on. Directly down into the building. You can see from this angle, there are lots of holes and corridors. Do you see this here? Do you see all this here? It looks like a worm went through here or something and made a burrow. This was because this was a building. People walked in here. These are doorways, walkways, windows, hallways, all made of brick. All made of brick. Notice all the red? It's all from brick. Okay, this is them on one of the other sides of the rim of what's left to this building. And the reason I took this was because this is the only part that you find this discoloration in the rim. Dare I say gold? I don't know. I don't know. But I know they use gold in these places. And this is not the only spot where I find something like this. There is another little spot that I have a surprise for you guys that I think I found something. And yeah. Okay, so here it's looking down into the one side of this building of all the red clay everywhere. That's because it's melted red brick, guys. Melted brick like you saw dripping off that ceiling in that supposed cave. Now, this is what did it for me. This is one of the things that just did it for me, guys. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah. Looks very rectangular, looks very edgy, looks very bricky to me. When you move over to this side, it starts getting squished down and really melted. But you can still make out the lines. See the lines? See how they're all lined up? See the pattern? Even though it's getting fucked up and out of warped out and out of shape, you can still see it. What are you guys saying? Red runny brick, yep. All right, now let's go over here. Let's go over here. Again, take note of the red everywhere. You would think you're in the Grand Canyon right now with all this red clay everywhere. There's got to be a brick in here somewhere, right? There's got to be a brick left over in here somewhere. Guys, I want you to feast your eyes on this right here. Do you see this? Do you see that this is straight blocks right here? Stacked straight blocks right here. This is a huge anomaly right here. All the way up this wall, that's all you see is brick lines, brick lines, brick lines. Now let's go back over here a little bit. And what do we see right here? What do we see right along here? Looks like melted brick to me. It looks like the wall started caving down on itself and melting down. Again, though, you can still see the lines. You can still see the patterns. Guy, when I was younger, Chrissy, a guy used to call me Cool Cat. He used to call me Cool Cat when I was younger. I remember his name was Chris. I was probably like 14 or something. Every time he saw me, he'd be like, Cool Cat. Okay. Basically, what you're looking at here is walls of brick. This is a brick wall. It's overwhelming. It is massive. But when I tell you the conclusion to this, you will understand why it is massive and why it's brick and what building this was. Here it's completely vitrified over this side. I am not denying that. You can't make out anything right there. It's just muck and practically turned to just complete dirt. But if you look over here, you can see the layered brick lines right here. Layered brick lines right here. Here, from one end to the other, you can see a line running through this wall. This was most likely a corridor that squished down onto itself and is closed up. But all through this, you can see little openings and little spaces everywhere. Again, I'd like to point out this is the section that I showed you just a little bit ago with the people standing on top. This is the only part in this whole place where you see this type of discoloration. And it just happens to be a gold color. I am just pointing that out. I'm not saying it's gold. I'm saying it's a gold color. Amongst all this gray and red and maroon and ashy looking stuff, you got something over here that looks like gold. Just saying. It could be anything, I guess. But to me, I know what they were using in these buildings. Could that be gold that is all mushed out and swirled out amongst whatever that is right there? It certainly could. It certainly could. It certainly could. Mount Vesuvius is not a volcano. It is not a volcano. If I showed you that right there, not knowing that we were in Vesuvius, if I took a snapshot and sent that to you and asked you to tell me what that was, I want everybody right now to tell me what you would say. I mean, I've already sent it to a few key people, and they've told me what they thought it is, not knowing that it just was a piece of Vesuvius picture. Yeah, Norway got fucked up, Tartarian meltdown. I looked at Norway. There's only little tiny regular houses now that people made after the X Factor event as little wooden houses, which is what you would, what you would expect. Not these colossal buildings and stuff that they say people made with their horse and buggies and stuff, mucking around in the mud. That's a brick fucking wall. All day long, it's a brick wall. No, Jen, it's just a volcano. Another angle with that gold-looking anomaly on the top. I'm going to call it an anomaly because I do not know what it is. But if it melted down, whatever that piece was, and it's all shrilly all up in here now and just corroded, and not corroded because gold doesn't corrode, but settled right into whatever it melted through. And who knows how far down that goes. I bet there's gold all over in this fucking place. Look at the brick wall. Look here, you can see the brick wall sloping down. You can see the layers of melt through the brick lines and the pattern that the way it was going, the direction it's going, and it's all squishing down on itself. They lied about everything, including this. In 1944, Mount Vesuvius did not erupt. They dropped a bomb in this thing to get rid of the evidence of whatever was still in here. People were catching on. We can't have that with his story. His story has to say his story. We are not taught what we're not meant to know, and we're not seeing what we're not meant to see either. They get rid of this stuff. Melted red fucking brick. Everywhere. Everywhere. You can almost make the fucking brick out. Now, I know I've been looking at a lot of brick lately, and my husband seems to think my brain might be a little on overload here with this brick stuff, but I even asked him. I said, what do you see? I didn't even tell him what he was. I said, what is this? He said, it looks like brick. Thank you. Very interesting. Extremely interesting. I wanted to look at this anomaly here. It keeps catching my eye every time I see it. I don't know what it is. I just don't know what it is. But it's an anomaly for me, this thing right here. I just don't know what it is. I can't put a term to it. I don't know. It just catches my eye every time. Take note here of the little squares that look like they're indenting onto themselves, like we saw on the patterns in Herculaneum and in Pompeii. This is 100% a brick building. And you can quote me on that. Vesuvius is a brick building. That's all it is. That's all it ever was, and it'll never be anything else. It's a brick building. It's not a volcano. He's lying to you. I am telling you the truth as far as I can tell from my armchair research, okay? Hours and hours and hours of looking at this shit. Ask my husband. That's all I do is sit around and look at this stuff, trying to get this piece to this puzzle. A little bit more of this gold stuff on this side. This could have definitely have been part of, I don't know if it's gold. It's gold looking. This all could have been part of the roofing. I don't know. Again, though, the brick pattern is everywhere. It's everywhere to be seen. It's brick, guys. Do you see the brick? Tell me in the chat, do you see the brick? I said to my husband last night, I said, do you know what this means? When I realized that Vesuvius was not a volcano, like for real, like looked at it and seen what I'm seeing, do you know what this means? This means that 1944, they lied about this thing going off. It can't go off. It's a fucking building. The circuit board's already been fried. It's not working. You can't refry a fried motherboard. It's impossible. They're lying. They drop bombs in this motherfucking thing. They have pictures of the planes flying over it before, during, and after. This anomaly here looks like a doorway to me. It's just, I'm pointing it out. I don't know what it is. I'm just saying that anomaly right there caught my eye every time I looked at it. Now, again, these are they'll tell you these are mineral deposits. This is just a completely vitrified building is what it is. Okay, this is another part, the other side to this, the previous picture here. The anomaly I find here is right here, which looks like a cave of some sort. Maybe it was a doorway that's collapsing down on itself. That looks like there's a centerpiece coming down. It's probably wide open, but it's melted down on itself now. Also, what anomalies I'm seeing here is a complete and utter melted wall of brick. Right here, you can make out the mortar and the brick lines, guys. Do you see that? That looks like Pompeii. That looks like some of the stuff that was wrecked in Pompeii. Do you see it? Do you see the lines? That's brick lines, guys. Brick. Red motherfucking brick. All day long, it's brick. Look at it. I mean, just look at it. You can see it. Further out you go, you can even see it. I mean, they had to have been hiding all this stuff. They had to drop a bomb down here. Look at this. You can tell there's structure. Oh, you haven't seen nothing yet, guys. You haven't seen nothing yet. Oh, there was another anomaly here I wanted to show you. Just up here, this sort of cave-ish looking thing right here. Maybe this part collapsed over on itself. It looks like it's collapsing over. These look like they might have been columns that were standing, or some sort of something that was horizontal at the time, and now it's going vertical. But this looks like a cave over here. Just pointing it out. Of course, to the left here, you can't miss the fucking brick lines every fucking where. I mean, I'm not making this up. You can see it, right? It's not just me. I don't have something in my eye, do I? All right. Moving on. This was a massive, massive, massive building made of brick. And I'm sure other things as well. The brick gets cooked and it goes block. And then it starts to popcorn and balloon out, even melting into the bricks around them, forming larger blocks. And then sometimes the brick will melt into itself and leave these little indentation looking things here. I showed that in Pompeii. That was my evidence. And now I'm showing it to you here within this melted building. This massive, massive melted building. I cannot express that enough. Here you can get a little bit better view of what I call the corridor. It seems to lead all the way around the building, and there was probably, most likely, many more of these corridors. They've all just squished down and closed up on themselves. This seems to be a pocket of survival. Wow, wow, and wow. Yes, exactly, young love. Exactly. His story is nothing but a bunch of fucking bullshit, and I am dismantling it right fucking now. It's done. It's over. This is not a volcano. This is not a volcano. It's a building. A massive building. It was way bigger than what we're seeing now. I can tell you that. It was extremely large. Okay, here's another section of this brick wall that they call a caldera. Here you can start to see what looks like holes in the wall. Dare I say steps right there? They look steppy. If not steppy, they look bricky. Okay, right here, going into this hole. I don't know what this hole is. There's another one up here. There's one here, and looks like there's one here, and maybe over here. This building is collapsing down on itself and melting into itself. Hey, Bella. Let's take in those brick lines for a moment. Take care of my cat. Come on. There you go. Anybody who's just joining, we are inside the caldera of what they call Mount Vesuvius. Geologists rate this as a volcano. And this is all just natural formations. Okay. I don't think so. Does anybody agree with me? Because I know what I'm looking at. I've looked at it enough. And just because they say this is a volcano, the indoctrination has already been dismantled with me. You can't do that to me anymore. It's not going to work. His story, his deception, his spell is not going to work anymore. Because what I'm looking at. Look at all the red melted brick. Look at the brick lines. Look at the brick lines. Whatever this was over here closed up on itself as well. This would have been probably another corridor up here even. This whole part's come down. Do you see the layers? Do you see the brick layers? See them? This is the furthest away from the heat up here. Down the bottom of this, what they say is a caldera, would be where the extreme heat is. The top part's where you're going to see more of the stuff left over, hopefully. And I see brick layers right here. I see brick layers right here and all the way down this thing. All the way down it. Could this right here be where they hit it with the bomb, maybe? Who knows? You know what kind of stuff would bellow out? You've seen bombs dropped in wars, guys. You know what they look like. Imagine if they did it in a volcano. It would look identical. Okay, this is drone footage at the rim, looking down. Looking down at the rim, just where the rim starts. Boy, that really looks like some Pompeii street right there, doesn't it? That looks like some street in Pompeii right there. Sure does. Yeah, sure does. What would a street in Pompeii be doing here in the fucking Vesuvius? Let's scooch over here to this, because this all looks like it's been constructed. This doesn't look happenstance. This looks like it had purpose and meaning to it along here. Albeit it's all cooked out, but it looks like it was constructed. Anybody watch Oak Island? They'll tell you all day long that somebody made that. Somebody made that shit. That was put there. Oh, it's in a volcano. It's natural. Okay, the writing is on the wall, guys. This is just another brick in the wall is what it is. It's just another brick in the wall. This massive, massive brick wall that surrounded this building and was a part of this building. And here you can see the corridors. Here you could see what looks like even the innards of the corridor there, and it leads into another spot right here. This goes in, guys. It's dark in there. This is all brick. Bricks have whitewash. Bricks have overlays on them. Things melt off of this stuff, the facades and everything. That looks like an arch to me right in here. This looks like another corridor up here, cave system of some sort. Windows and doors right here, it looks like. I can't be sure, but that's what it looks like to me. So that's what I'm going to tell you it looks like. Maybe they're not. Maybe it's shadowing and I'm just not figuring that out, but this is what it looks like right now. Definitely looks like archways that have melted down. Definitely looks like archways. Again, if I just showed you that and nothing else and asked you what to tell me what that is, you would tell me that was a melted brick wall. Well, it is. It still is, even though it's in this place, because this place is a building. It's a building. It's a building. You can make out the brick and the lines everywhere you look. This is not power of suggestion. I showed you Pompeii. I showed you Herculaneum, excuse me. I showed you what melted brick looks like. We know what it looks like when it cucks out the color. We know what it looks like when it balloons out. We're looking at brick, guys. 100% brick and nothing else but brick. It may be hard for some people to grasp this, but I just have to tell you, go back and watch the other live streams. Go watch When the Buildings Cried. Tartarian Meltdown has a new video out explaining all this stuff. This is a building. Let's go up here. What do we got up here? More of that gold stuff. Do you see how it looks like it's all gold and swirling around up here? This is all melted. This could have been part of the functionality of the building, this gold. I don't know if it's gold. I don't know. I'm just saying. It's different than the composition of everything around it. It's different. It may not be gold. I'm speculating that. Well, we just did gold domes. Okay, this was a video this lady was doing, and I thought her footage was really good, so I figured I'd snap a picture and try to zoom in on some of this here. Again, you can make out the brick lines. Doesn't matter how far down or how far up you go. You're able to make it out. These are not mineral layers. They'll tell you they're mineral layers all day long, but that is not what it is, guys. It's just not. I'm not there. I can't test the stuff and all this crap like that. But from what I've seen, and I've been looking at this for quite some time. It's not like I'm new to this. I didn't just come into this yesterday and I'm saying fucking Mount Vesuvius is a building. I think I know what I'm looking at. I think I know what I'm looking at by now. And having 107 people here, I think you guys know what I'm talking about too. So you wouldn't be here if I didn't know what I was saying. All right, this is drone footage as well, just to give you an overall view of the size of this place. Here's some people down here. This is massive, guys. And we have told you, even in the documentary, that these were massive buildings and they were interconnected. Look at mountain ranges. These are all buildings, massive buildings. That means this is an extremely well-established civilization who clearly had no problem making red brick. Okay, first off. Where's all this clay coming from? I have no fucking clue. Another angle to the rim here. Just a lot of questionable things with this whole rim. Seeing the patterns in it, the melt layers. And just looking at it, the way it formed all the way down, just like that wall in Pompeii, where you had the big white blocks and then the brick in the middle, and then the big white blocks, and then the brick in the middle, and then the big white blocks and the brick in the middle. See all the layers? Here you can see it really well. They lied to us about what happened on March 1944. It was a big lie. It was a huge lie. And they just tucked it away into his story, made a little propaganda video, and that's what they showed everybody back then in 1944, because they didn't have news outlets and stuff like they do now, and everybody's got, fucking devices in their hands and media everywhere at their fingertips. They put out a little video telling you what happened. That's the news, and move on. Okay, here I want to focus on these layers right here. Oh, no, that's just red sandstone, Jen. That's red sandstone. You see that in, in the Grand Canyon. You see that in Zion National Park. That's just red sandstone. That's all it is. They're not brick lines and melt layers. No. This is a volcano. God only knows how far down this thing went. Okay. Here you can see quite clearly the brick lines. This is one of my favorite pictures. This is one of the ones that absolutely did it for me. That's 100% brick. These are not mineral layers. These are brick layers. You can see the brick layers. Look at right here. Look at right here. Look at right here. Right in here. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 blocks, bricks lined up right there with each other. What they were doing in 1944 was getting rid of the rest of the stuff that was inside this place, because people were starting to come up here and see what was going on. And they knew the technology was advancing and they couldn't stop it, and this shit was going to get out. So what they do? They had a fake eruption. More anomalies here. I looked at this section earlier and just like about 10 pictures back. This looks to me like a doorway or something that was closing up on itself up here. I'm not sure what this is, but it looks like maybe like an entranceway or a doorway. This may have come down on itself because it looks like there's space behind here. So I wanted to point that out. Again, you could see what looks like stacked brick all along here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, straight down because it's a wall. So again, they label this mineral layers inside the crater of Mount Vesuvius. That's what they're telling you. This is his story. His story says that this is mineral layers. It's minerals. That's all it is. Nothing else. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. But I see something. I see something. And it gave me a holy shit moment when I saw it. And now I am going to show it to you. But I'm going to have to go all the way back to the beginning. That's one of my beginning pictures. So let me just scroll back a little bit. Okay, we're back to Herculaneum. Okay. There. Hold on. All right, let me start here. All right. Now we're back here and we're looking at these walls. Here we go. Here you can see the block. Here you can see the brick. Here you can see the block. Here you can see the brick. Here you can see the block. Here you can see the brick. Here you can see the vitrified wall where you can't even barely tell it's brick anymore. Here you can see the brick sort of intact, sort of holding its thing, but they're kind of getting smaller, squishy together, right? Over here, completely vitrified. Exactly what we're seeing in Vesuvius. Exactly. Look at these walls. Exactly what we're seeing in Vesuvius. You can still make out that they're lined up. But they don't look like bricks anymore because they went block and they're cooked out. Heat. Look at this wall here. Heat. Wait till you see what I got up for here, guys. Wait till you see what I got. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay. So as I was examining these pictures, I was using a magnifying glass and I was going over everything with a fine-tooth comb because I figured, there's got to be something else besides brick that I can find in here. There's got to be something somewhere left over. Once I realized that they dropped these bombs in 1944 to destroy probably whatever was visible from the, bird's eye view kind of visible. Guys, I think I found something. I think I found the statue. And I think I may have found gold. Here, I see what looks like maybe brick lines, but it may be also something that's connected to something right here and a face. Because here is a nose. Here's the side of a face, and here is the lips. And then as you go down just a little bit more, it gets weird and all swooshy around right here. I think this was a statue. And I think the statue may have had gold on it or near it at the time. Because I think that this right here is gold. I cannot say for sure. I don't have proof. But it looks quite anomalous compared to the rest of the area around it. It looks like gold. There's that. There is clearly a profile of a face there. I showed this picture to a few people, not telling them anything about it, and told them to tell me what they see. And they said they see what I see. They said the same exact thing. They see a side profile of a face with something on the head. There's clearly a nose and a mouth there. And yes, that looks like gold right next to it and possibly on the headdress of whatever that thing might have been. Or it could just be gold that ran down from up top here somewhere. But that looks like fucking gold to me. Okay, we just looked at melted gold the other day. Could I be wrong? Sure, I could be wrong, but I'm definitely not wrong about the fucking red brick and everything above it. I'm just saying what I see here. You tell me what you see. I want everybody to tell me what you see in the chat. Tell Jen, you're fucking crazy and you're seeing shit, or you can see a statue there. Conehead, maybe, yeah. This was my holy shit moment right here. This was it for me, okay? I've looked at enough stuff from the supposed ancient world, and I'm digging through all this stuff with a magnifying glass, looking at all this shit for hours on end. Here's 12:24 a.m. I was up till about almost 6 o'clock this morning, guys. I have not had much sleep. I've been dying to show you guys this stuff. You can see the brick there. You can see the brick, how it's gone indented on itself, even right here. It's got that brick indent right here, brick indent right here, and right here. Right in here it has it. This looks like more gold through here that might be running down through stuff. Gold melts at 1900 degrees. This event was over 5,000 degrees. Whatever gold is in here is going to melt right down through everything. And they're going to be like, oh, look, a vein of gold. A vein of gold. Do you think maybe they might have went in here before they dropped the bomb in 1944 and maybe tried to see if they can get anything out? Metal detected around and stuff? I don't know. I don't know, but I can tell you one thing. This thing did not explode in 1944 with the second eruption. That is a lie. And the first one is a lie too, because it didn't erupt. it melted down from the X Factor event. All it is melted brick lines. Okay, so now we got that. Got that. All right, I'm going to tell you what I think this building was. If my stuff will load. I'm going to have to get a cigarette. Here we go. I think it was this. I know it looks like it's books or whatever. It does look like brick though, doesn't it? Anyway, no, that's not the picture I wanted to show you. The picture I want to show you is down here. If I can find it. Wow, that's very volcano looking with that stuff coming out the top, isn't it? That's weird. Is that supposed to be like the Tower of Babel? Looks like it's a brick. And what's that stuff coming out the top of it? I don't know. I don't know. But I can tell you, I think it looked like this. And I think that it is one of many towers. One of many. Not the Tower of Babel. I am not saying it is the Tower of Babel. However, I am saying there were more than one. There were more than one Tower of Babel, and I don't know why I'm not getting up the pictures that I got up before. This sucks. Okay, hold on. Here it is. I'll go over here to this one. Okay, so once the Tower of Babel is destroyed, it looks like this. Like Vesuvius. Guys, am I right? Could it have been one of the Towers of Babel? Does that not look like a fucking volcano? Imagine that thing melted down and all muffed up. You tell me. Because I think we're looking at one of these Towers of Babel. That's exactly what I think I'm looking at. And I think that there was more than one. And I'm going to give you an example. This is what we have today in ancient Samarra, Iraq. This is just one of a few of these different types of towers that still exist today. Granted, this is not the scale of Vesuvius, but just to give you a general idea, this is a tower that is made of, you guessed it, red brick. Red brick. That's right. It's made of red brick. If you want a close-up picture of the brick, here it is. Imagine the wall of brick that we just saw inside of the rim of Vesuvius. That whole one side looked like it was one big brick wall. Clearly, this tower is a key component in this particular grid system in this area that most likely does not work anymore. It's Baroque. The ground around it is completely cooked to sand. They'll tell you this is an ancient site, but it looks like components on a computer board to me. This whole area is gridded out. Completely cooked. So, yeah, what are we looking at here? I don't know. I think we're looking at, like I said, this image here. That's the only thing that came to my mind, and it clicked for me. I had one of those aha moments in my head, and I just said, no fucking way. No way. And I was just completely floored. Oh, I didn't see if you ruined it or not, Ceiling Fan. Spot on, Jen. Thanks, Ceiling Fan. I mean, Squeeze. No, I mean, what other conclusion could you come to? I'm speculating on my last live stream of what this building could have looked like. It was massive. What else could it have been? It had to have been something like this. Remember all those little openings I was showing you on the inside the rim of the volcano, which is not a volcano? See all these little openings in here and stuff? Was it something that they used in their technology? I don't know. But and now again, here, look, here's a stupa on the ground, an ancient stupa. And I'd have to say it's probably in Thailand or India, okay? Because this is where they are. Look at the tech on top. Look at all the red brick. Imagine that on the scale of Vesuvius, guys. Imagine it. You can even still see some of the facade here over the brick. I ain't making this shit up. I'm just telling you what I see. I'm putting the pieces to the puzzle together. I'm dismantling his story and putting together our story is what I'm trying to do here. And I just don't know. I don't know if there was more than one of these things, but I have seen etchings where they show the Tower of Babel, and in the background they show smaller towers of Babel around. So how many of these towers were they? I mean, are we getting the whole story here on this whole Tower of Babel thing? Are they leaving some stuff out? Look at it up in the clouds here. It looks like, is it giving the clouds? Is it giving off clouds, or is it just up in the clouds? Because they say Vesuvius still gives off steam vents. Again, it's pictured up in the clouds. Or is it giving off the clouds? I don't know. But again, under here, you can see what looks like brick patterns right here. They're even showing you. And it looks like, yeah, it's destroyed and melted here. Look, see how it looks like it's melted down here? It's melted down over stuff. I think that's what we're looking at, guys. I think we're looking at one of the towers of Babel, or whatever the original name to this thing was. I hate to call it whatever his story is calling it, but it's definitely not a volcano. Okay. All right. So I'm going to hop over here to my Facebook real quick and try to open up something that I have that I wanted to show you guys. And let's see if my stuff will work. I don't know. It might not work. Oh, this is not closing for me. What's going on? I'm going to have to reload this or something. All right, let me hit this bowl. I don't even think I hit the bowl yet at all. All right. Yes, please wait. See, Paige is not responding. Don't you just love it? Don't you just fucking love it? They don't want you to know this shit. They don't want you to see what I got for you. But that's okay. They're not going to hold me back. Now, what I have to show you here. Oh, shit. Is this the one that I wanted? Fuck. I don't know if I clicked on the right one. I think I did. I hope I did. Also, there were sewer systems underneath Pompeii. Some people were disputing that the other day with me or whatever. There's definitely sewers underneath Pompeii and Herculaneum. Let me get this messenger back up. Nothing's wanting to respond for me here. All right, let me just see if I can find it in my library, and I'll just history. It's not over here. Shit. All right, give me 1 second, guys. I'm still trying to find the rest of this stuff. Just want my stuff to work so I can get this up for you guys. But if you need to take a break or go pee, do it now, because it's going to take me a minute to get this stuff up. And I really need to get it up. I'm going to have to switch accounts, maybe go to my other account, see if it's in my history. Everybody, please sub and bell my backup channel. All right, let me see if it's in my history here. Yeah, this should be it. All right, let's see. Okay, I'm gonna shit. I'm gonna send this to myself, I guess. See if I can get it to come up on my stuff. It's called Exploring Inside of a Volcano. Share. Take a break, guys. Smoke one, go pee, whatever. Just do your thing. I'll have our stuff up here in just a moment. I just have to resend it. Instead of playing a song, I'm doing this. Okay. Let's see if I get it. There it is. Okay, let me pull this up. Hopefully I don't get in trouble for this video. It's pretty short, but the verbiage that's used in this particular video is interesting. And plus I have an anomaly in this video that I want to show you. God, I hope there's not a commercial. I'm going to have to skip the ad first and then screen share this with audio. So it's going to take a minute. As you can see, everything's loading. It's only 3 minutes and 21 seconds. So, all right, that's that. Come back over here. Stop screen share. Okay, this is going to get crazy, guys. Wait till you see this. Got some more crazy stuff. Because it's not just Vesuvius, guys. It's all of them. It's all of them. And I found something really cool in this video we're going to take a look at. And I want to see what you guys think because I'm seeing some stuff. Share screen. Share audio. All right, let's take a look at this video if it'll play for me. Still loading, guys. You have a couple more minutes before it starts. I think it's just slow loading. I'm sorry, but if you're on a break and you're going to the bathroom or something, you still got another minute or two here for this thing. Fucking does what it's supposed to do. Oh. All right, I'm going to pause it real quick. Let it load, and I'm going to make it big screen. So this is going to take a second as well. It's not going to start just yet. That we're going to take a look at. If this thing will ever load, we'll look at it.
For the first time in history, travelers have the opportunity to see what a volcano looks like on the inside. But first, Bjorn, let's hike. What are we doing today?
What are we doing today?
Well, we're going to take a short hike over the lava field.
All right, I'm pausing it and just letting it load up since I have a big screen now, guys. And then I'll play it here in just a sec. Switch accounts. All right. I got 103 people here still. That's fucking awesome, guys. There's an echo. Well, it's going to work itself out here in just a second. I got to mute myself too. That's one more thing I got to do. So let me go over here and mute myself so there's no echo. Everything's
Over here, look at some smaller caves and see both new and old lava streams.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's quite common here in Iceland. Here we have this is formed by lava streams.
That's cool. You know what else I like? This. This is nature's trampoline right here, folks. This is awesome. So I just learned something new and interesting. The American and European plates meet in Iceland, and they're splitting apart right now.
Yeah, this is an excellent example about how Iceland is drifting apart. We are moving to America. Well, at least this part.
This part's going to America. This part's going to Europe.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so we've arrived at base camp.
Yep.
And now it's time for safety.
Yeah. Now everybody puts on helmets and harnesses.
It's going to totally clash with my outfit, but we'll make it work. So I'm not exactly sure what all this says, but I'm pretty sure we're going into this.
That's right. So we're here at the top now, and now we're going 120 meters, or a little less than 400 feet down to the bottom of the crater.
Here we go! It's kind of intense, in a good way. Kind of speechless.
Yeah.
These formations look almost too perfect to be natural. It looks like a Hollywood set.
Yeah. Nature always surprises.
Oh man, this is just spectacular. Wow.
Yeah.
This was well worth the hike.
Yeah, this is amazing. The size, of course, it's the size and the height, and also the bright colors.
What do you want people to take from this?
Well, of course, just an adventure and see how the plumbing looks like on the inside.
The real plumbing.
Yeah, the real plumbing, how it all works.
Thank you for the experience. This is a once in a lifetime experience.
Yeah, I'm happy that you liked it.
Tuck.
Thank you.
How about that? Did you see what I saw? First off, he says, it looks too perfect to be natural. And then they start showing everything melted. And then the best part, which I'm going to show you right now as soon as I rewind it a tiny bit here and stop it where I want it.
A lifetime experience.
Yeah, I'm happy that you liked it.
I'll get it to go in just a second. This thing doesn't want to... Let me get the volume down. Fucking piece of shit. I'm going to stop it right where I want it. Right here. Stop. Just stop. Okay. Now I'm going to screen share, guys. And I want you to fucking tell me in the chat. I want every person, 103 fucking people here. Even if you're not chatting right now, I want you to tell me what you see behind these guys. Down inside a fucking volcano. You ready? Tell me what you see. Standing behind these guys. Put it in the chat. Every person watching this on your screen, I want you to tell me what you see behind those guys. I'll make it big in case you can't see it. I'll make it extra big. This is in Iceland. Iceland, inside whatever volcano they called this thing, in Iceland. I just showed you inside Vesuvius in Italy, Naples, Italy. This is in Iceland. What the fuck do you see behind that man? Red brick. Archway. Red brick. Please do. I am on my phone. Yep, system failure. I enlarged it up for you. Red brick, a doorway, red brick. Anybody who sees a doorway, what else do you see? Something making the doorway. I see clear, definitive brick everywhere. But you know what they're going to tell you? And these jackwagons right here, that these are mineral deposits. That's all they are. They're mineral deposits. Well, I think we just dismantled that. We just destroyed that part of his story. This is a fucking brick wall. They're inside of a building. What's this right here? What is this? This looks like brick. Brick on brick on brick. Clearly some sort of an archway here. Clearly an archway. There's no two ways about it. That's a fucking archway. And that is a stack of red bricks right behind them. Is some rioters down here getting ready to riot? Why is there a stack of bricks right there? You tell me, geologists. You tell me, archaeologists. You tell me, historians. Yeah, Flapjack. Something's making that doorway, right? All red brick, Carla Farizzi. You know it. Now you see. Now you can see. What is the Matrix? What is the Matrix? The Matrix is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth, you may ask? The truth is that nothing is what they've told you. Not even the very fabric of your reality. They have lied to us about what's above our heads. They've clearly lied to us about all the shit that's under our feet. And now we're finding that they have lied to us about everything that exists around us within our realm. Do you think maybe they may have lied to us about our true nature and our true power? They're working 24/7 to suppress us in every way, shape, and form, from the air we breathe, to the water we drink, to the food we eat, to the toxic clothes that we wear on our bodies, to the constant 24/7 propaganda they're feeding into people's brains through the tell lies to your vision and media outlets. They are working nonstop. If they take their finger off the pulse of trying to keep us suppressed for even a second, we will see through their bullshit. I am seeing through their bullshit right now, looking behind these two jackwagons who think they're in a fucking volcano because they're indoctrinated and they don't know any better. And maybe this one over here has a PhD degree of some sort, saying he's an expert in his field of volcanology. Well, volcanologist, geologist, archaeologist, and every other ologist out there needs to be fired immediately. Iceland, Pompeii, same fucking thing. Now that's just two. I only did two. I couldn't go any further. I was just so blown away by all this. I just happened to click on this video last night. They were going inside. I'm like, I need to see the inside of these places. I can't be flying around the top of the volcano and look at all the destruction from the outside of it. I want to go inside and see what's going on. It's a 3-minute video. I clicked on it and I'm like, what the fuck? Look at it. It's right there. You heard it here first, guys. Mount Vesuvius and all these other volcanic things are not what they're telling us. They're actually buildings. Clearly, they had an important part on the motherboard component system, and they were hit hard during the X Factor event. No two ways about that. No two ways about that. So, yeah, the mind-blowing thing for me was the statue head. Now, granted, like I said, I tried to get the best picture quality that I possibly could on that statue head, and it wasn't easy. But I tried to, factor in shadowing and angling and, only seeing the 2D form of, a 3 and 4D situation here, and trying to factor all these things into it and really be, skeptical. Not just be like, oh, look this and oh, look that. And I'm seeing fucking, fairies in the clouds and stuff. It caught my eye. I'm looking at it with a magnifying glass through every nook and cranny because I'm looking for brick. And then I see a face. And I'm like, honey, what's that? And actually, he didn't even see the face at first. He said to me, it looks like more red brick around it. And I'm like, do you see anything else that looks weird? And then I said, what's that right there? And he's like, oh yeah. But see, I had a magnifying glass when I was looking at this stuff. I was going through every little thing, there had to be something left somewhere. Thank you, Trisha. I'm speechless too, Carla. I had a holy shit moment when I realized yesterday what I have discovered. This literally, like, if I did a dissertation or something and wrote a whole thesis on this thing, and this was actually a field, I would be the master of my field. Do you understand? I am a geologist. I am not a geologist. I am and I always want to be an archaeologist too. It's funny. And a marine biologist, by the way. I don't even know what I am. I'm a truth teller. It's so exciting that I discovered this, and it was like I couldn't wait to tell you guys. And now you can see these things and know what they are, and or at least know what they're not. Okay, you know what they're not. That means another layer of the lie and the indoctrination has been peeled away from your brain. That lie that has been put over you, the world that has been put over you to disguise it, to hide it from the truth. What truth, Neo? The truth is that everything is red brick, and everything had a functionality on this motherboard system that they had. I'm just blown away. And I encourage everybody to look at volcanoes and see what you can find. If you can see people going into volcanoes or looking at all this stuff. Now, the volcanoes that I've seen that still have molten lava in them going on and stuff, I don't know what to make of that, guys. To me, it would have to be still a part of the situation of wherever that part was located is still melting down. That can only tell you one thing. This was a recent event. Everything's not cooled off yet. It was recent. That's why we have some of them that are still molten inside, still melting down. Could I be wrong? Sure, I could be wrong. I have absolutely no proof except what I showed you. That's what I got. I would have to actually go to these places and see for myself. I just watched two guys propel down inside a cone of a volcano, and there's a fucking brick wall sitting there. I'm not making this shit up. Oh my gosh. And it's just like, oh my gosh, you know, I don't even know. Holy shit. Just holy fucking shit. So, you know, like, okay, for instance, Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls is not Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls is a fucked up melted building that has water flowing over it now. It's just a natural formation, according to geologists. Go take a walk down. If you're in Philly, go take a walk down along the Schuylkill River. Go walk down along where all those huge boulders are and those rock walls are and stuff like that, and look at it with new eyes. You're seeing building, outcroppings of a building, not outcroppings of rock walls and stuff. Mount St. Helens is similar, red color. Yeah, exactly, dude. What happened with Mount St. Helens? I do not know. I do not know. Maybe that is something that is still melting down and there was pressure building up and it went off. I don't know. I don't know exactly what's going on below our feet. I can only speculate. And it takes much, much, much more research. I would have to delve into all this stuff going underground. And I have been going underground. I've been looking at cave systems. I've been looking at mines and stuff. And you know, cisterns and all these different things like that. And it's just, you know, trying to teach myself and learn at the same time. It's a learning curve process. And I'm losing my voice. I'm just so excited. Mount Vesuvius was a building, and it most likely was the shape of the Tower of Babel. It may not have been the Tower of Babel. I don't even know if the Tower of Babel story is true. It could just be another part of his story laced within the Bible or something. I don't know. I can't say for sure. But I know there's depictions of it, and that fucking thing looks like a volcano. It's the only logical conclusion I can come to. I mean, what would you come to? I don't think I'm reaching. I don't think I'm reaching. I think I'm on point. I'm not just saying, okay, I'm going to grab this. I'm going to grab that. I'm going to cherry pick these and I'm going to stick them all together and I'm just going to make this up and make people see what I want to see. There's 104 people here right now. Y'all fucking seen brick behind those two guys when they went down. Okay, I'll screen share again. We'll do it again. We'll do it right now. Let's go. Let's go back to the volcano in Iceland. Hold on. I'm not finished my screen share process there. Hold on. There we go. Share screen. Back to the cave. Back. Oh, God, it fucking started playing on me, of course. Let's go where they propel down. Get it to stop. Okay, let's just stop it right there if it'll stop. Right here. Right here. What do you see? Let me see if I can zoom in. Do you see that, guys? Do you see that little area there where it's all kind of like lined? Now, they're coming straight down, right? So that means these lines are vertical. They're not horizontal. You know, if you were in a tunnel, what would they tell you those were if you were in a tunnel? Everybody in the chat, what would they tell you that is on the wall there if you were in a tunnel? Yes, it was the Tower of Babel. It was one of the towers. I don't know if it's the tower. I'm just saying. It looks like it was a tower of that construction. What do you see right there on the wall? If you were in a tunnel, they would tell you they are what? Yeah, Tartarian Meltdown, please share this, please. And if you can find more evidence and take it further, please, and share it with me, please, because I want to see it. If you saw this in a cave, they would tell you that these are pickaxe marks. Yeah, it could have been Kilimanjaro. I don't know, but definitely these were multiple towers. These are not just one. And these are major components on the motherboard system, or whatever you want to call it, whatever their free energy grid system was set up like. It was a key component because they all fried, they all melted down, all of them. We call them volcanoes now. Gonna make a vid on volcanoes for sure. Yes, thank you, Tartarian Meltdown. Please share my channel too if you can. I would greatly appreciate that. And tell people about my backup channel, the Truth Seeker 69 Original. Again, they would say that these are pickaxe marks. These are heat striations. That's all it is. It's heat striations. Let's continue on. I'm not having any sound. I'm just playing it because I want you to see this one part. There's no sound. All this is melted. All this is melted brick up here that they just showed there on the wall. Look at that. It's all melted, all muffed up, scorched. Right there. Boom, baby. That's melted red brick right there, guys. That's melted red brick. That's all that you see all over Vesuvius. All right, let's stop it right here because this is the first scene that you see the brick wall behind them. And that's a different angle from the scene that I stopped it before. But again, it's clear, it's definitive, it's decisive. There's lines of delineation going across. This looks like a wall straight out of fucking Pompeii. Straight out of Pompeii. That's what this looks like. Yes, it is. Oh my God. You're right, Carla. Do you see the brick wall behind them? What is this brick wall doing in their fucking Icelandic fucking volcano? Yeah. Not supposed to be there. Just like flat Earth, it's been right in front of our faces this whole time, guys. Flat Earth has been in our faces this whole time. We just couldn't see it because we were indoctrinated. There's a brick wall right behind this guy. He can't see it because he is indoctrinated. Look at the 66 on his jacket right here. All right, let's stop it right there. What's this? What's all this? That looks like brick to me. And that looks like the same structures we're seeing all over in Vesuvius. Right there. I showed it over and over and over and over again on the pictures. Guys, you're hearing it right here on my channel. This is a structure. This is not a volcano. They have lied to us about everything. When I say everything, I mean every fucking thing. All right, hang on. I need to go back some. I thought there was another part there I wanted to show you. All right, whatever. The video is called, here it is right here. Explore the inside of a volcano. That's what the title of this video is called. If you want to use it, I'll see if I can copy the link here real quick. Copy link. No, it won't work that way. I'm going to have to do it over here. Shit. I want this go. Oh, I have it zoomed in. That's why. Okay, so I'm going to drop this link here for this video. If you want to use it or show people or whatever, use it in your video or whatever. Here you go. It's right here. Mountains are not mountains and volcanoes are not volcanoes. They're just melted brick buildings. That's all they are. All right, guys, I have been on for 2 hours and 30 minutes. I have 95 people here. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. This is a major, I feel it's right up there with, you know, the whole melted building discovery straight off. I mean, I know that these things are not what they're telling us, but I never actually delved into volcanoes and saw the brick for myself. So this is, for me, this is groundbreaking. This is a major truth. Major truth. And like I said last year and the year before, we've been lied to on levels that we have not even fathomed yet. I said that a year or two ago. And look where we're at now. This is one of those levels that we could not have fathomed that they lied to us about. This is one of them right here on this show. Red fucking motherfucking brick. Mount Vesuvius and every other Tower of Babel fucking volcano they got out there. I don't know what's going on with the interiors of all of them, but I can tell you what happened in 1944. They dropped a couple of bombs down in there to wreck out and melt out whatever else was still in there, because apparently there was stuff to be seen. I just showed you a picture of a bust of a side profile of what looks like a woman's face. What looks like what gold melted around it. You guys saw it too. I mean, thank you, crushing the liars. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to crush the liars, crush the lies all day long. I am just tired of it. I'm tired of being lied to. I'm tired of living a lie. I lived the volcano lie all my life until just recently. So for me, volcanoes were actually volcanoes all my life. I lived that lie. So, yeah, there's that. Now I don't live it anymore. Now I know what I'm looking at. How it fits into the whole piece to the puzzle, I don't know exactly where it fits in, but I know it fits in definitely on their grid system of free energy. And that component got fried. And it melted down and over and flowed down into the populace around like a mud flood. They had to come in and dig it all out. They didn't have to chisel it out. It wasn't like, they just dug it out, guys. Just like these mud floods. So all these mountain ranges, when you look at them from above, satellite pictures down, you could see that they're melted out. Well, those buildings were probably, who knows, 5 to 10 times the size that we're seeing now. They were, and then all that melted down, and we're only left with the mountain ranges that we see now. But then everything that flowed down onto the ground and out into everything. That's just like what we're seeing in Vesuvius, at Pompeii and Herculaneum. So, yeah. I'm going to get ready to get out of here. I love you guys. I do have a PayPal link. If anybody would like to support my channel, this is my main job. I have no other job. My job is to bring you guys the truth. My job was phased out last year with the whole COVID thing. And my last paycheck was 17 cents. I don't even know why they bothered to even mail it out. I had a little survey to do, a questionnaire thing, and I did that, and that was it. I haven't heard anything since. I'm still employed with them, but there's just no work. Because the type of work that I did was interacting with the public. I would do food sampling and product sampling, and for that you need to engage closely with the customers. And there's none of that anymore. So That job's phased out. Please, if you'd like to help support me that way, that would be really helpful. All donations are greatly appreciated. And I do send out emails of for donations $5 or more with a little bit of PDFs in there that are life-saving information, basically, how to outlive an EMP attack, the old pioneer way, and the lost ways PDF, the book. I have the book and the PDF. The book itself is worth $50, and so is the PDF. So I'm giving this away for practically nothing. And also the other PDF is how to build a can rotation system. So, and there's just so much stuff in there, so much useful information, and you could share these PDFs with whoever you want. Send it out to everybody. Send them out as gifts. Print them out. If you have a printer, you can print it out. You can have it, or have certain sections. Whatever section you need, say you wanted to have that one particular chapter printed out, just print that out. 711 Lucas, you're a little late. I'm about to get out of here. Please rewind and please share. All right, guys, I love you so much. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me. Thank you for helping me dismantle his lie and his story. And now we can begin to write our story. And now that we are starting to better understand the past, we can learn from the past and not repeat it. See, they have the past hidden from us with this lie that they put over it called his story. They put his story over it. So we would never know what happened in the past. And then we would be doomed to repeat it. And this is how that they hold their power over us and they stay on top of us. And they work really hard at covering all this shit up. World War I and World War II got rid of a lot of shit. A lot of shit. And I will never, ever, ever believe that Vesuvius popped off in 1944. Not after I saw the pictures of the planes flying over Vesuvius before it went off, during it going off, and after it went off. No. His story is nothing but a fucking lie. I love you guys. Have a good one. Please share everywhere.